It's not on.
Uh-huh. We are live.
Live?
We are live. Baby, you ready? So, welcome. It's Friday. It's time for another edition of Samantha Wise Words. And I got my best friend with me on my left, N-O-G, Ed Wise, Honey Babe, all of those good names I like to call them. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this session over to Quiana, who has graciously, you want to?
No.
You want to? You nervous?
Good.
Are you nervous?
I got hot.
It's kind of cold in here, babe. He said he out already, so he ain't started yet. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Quiana, who has graciously accepted my invitation to moderate this podcast, and she's going to be nice to us. Are you going to be nice?
I'll be nice.
Okay, well, go ahead, take it over, man.
Hi, everybody. My name is Quiana. Welcome to Samantha's Wise Words. And like she said, it's the special edition. I can't even believe that we actually here today with Ed and Sam to get intimate with them. I'm super excited. We have a Q&A session. We're celebrating their anniversary. So 30 years together, 24 years married. We don't get to see that often. So I just want to say happy anniversary to both of you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
So we can go around and do a quick intro. Like I said, I'm Quiana. Obviously, you know this is Sam, but if you guys want to give a brief background of who you are.
Well, I guess I'm being interviewed. I am Samantha Wise, formerly Samantha Allen. I've been with this man since 1991. So this year we're making 30 years that we've been liking each other, giving each other the Google eyes, so on and so forth. And I am extremely happy to be your girlfriend.
Okay. I'm Ed Wise. Samantha's husband.
Sorry, what you say? You gonna look over there?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, Ed Wise, Samantha Wise husband. Been married to Samantha now, 24 years? Together 30 total. Thank you for that.
Awesome. So I just want to say really quickly why this interview is important to me, and thank you all for giving me the opportunity. A lot of people in our community say that you guys are couple goals, dream couple, a lot of great things they have to say about you. And we always kind of wonder, what are you doing to sustain not just a marriage, because there's a lot of people that are married for a long length of time, but we could see the genuine happiness. Like year over year, we continue to see that you guys remain happy. And so a lot of people are wondering what's causing that, the happiness? How are you able to work through things? But I wanted to say why it's special to me is because when I look at a couple that's what we call a power couple, or someone that, we aspire to be, is how those people show up as individuals, and to me, that really determines a power couple, how you show up as an individual. So I just want to go back a little bit to talk about how I remember Sam and how I remember Ed as individuals before I even knew the both of them were married. So for Sam, I always tell this story. My earliest memory of Sam was when I was 14. We were at a Oakland High and Tech football game. And you know how you say it takes a village to raise kids, right? And so me and my friends was having a good time. One of my friends was cussing and acting out. And I just remember Sam stepping out from what she was doing and telling us, y'all better cut that out. Y'all, if y'all gonna be disrespectful, go take that somewhere else, right? And so I say that because that memory stood with me forever. I can remember it was yesterday, because I really pride myself in being not embarrassing my family when I'm out in the streets. And for Sam to step out like that and kind of put us in our place is something that I would just never forget. And even to this day, one of the things that I admire about you, Sam, is you will always step out of what you're doing day to day to either uplift somebody, give them feedback, or put them in their place. So that's how I remember you as an individual, and that's what I look up to.
Thank you. And you still get in trouble. she just got in trouble Wednesday. I had
an attitude about working out.
She was proud.
And Sam was like, "You don't run the show." Well, I'm running the show today.
Yeah, that part. See how quickly the tables turn. Yeah.
And then Ed, before I knew that you were married to Sam, I remember my mom lived on 88th in East Oakland. And was that your grandmother or your mom?
Grandmother.
Your grandmother, and then was that your uncle or your dad?
My dad.
Okay, so my mom lived next door to his grandmother and his dad, and I didn't know you, but I saw you from afar coming up, checking in on your grandmother, checking in on your dad. Always a well-mannered, put-together guy. And so that's like, I don't know, just seeing you from afar, I admired that. And so then when I found out that both of you were married, I was like, wow, that's a dope couple. We don't get to see that in Oakland too often. And so since then, I have been just like at awe about y'all relationship. So this is why, you know, this today is important to me. So thank y'all for giving me the opportunity.
We appreciate you.
I remember you too over there. She was
the little girl over there.
Exactly.
Okay, awesome. So the theme of today, I actually just recently learned that the 24th wedding anniversary is inspired by Opal, which means to inspire love, purity, and happiness. Donita gave me that little tidbit, so thank you, Donita. But I think it's a perfect theme for why we're here today. We're going to do a Q&A session, not to just be in Sam and Ed business, but to really hopefully walk away with inspiration for Black love. You know, that's I think a perfect theme for right now, and how we want to celebrate is to hopefully inspire our community, our people, that Black love still exists. It's here, it's possible, whether you're single, married, in a struggling marriage, whether you aspire to be married. Hopefully you leave today with some inspiration. So that's the whole purpose of this.
Sound good to me.
Y'all ready?
What's up?
Yeah, we ready.
Ed, are you ready? Because the people said that you
Right,
people
they
said
said
Ed not giving no tidbits, but I got faith Ed gonna give us some jewels today. All right, well, let's start the Q&A session. So first question is, how did y'all meet?
You want me to answer that first?
Okay.
Well, I've pretty much been knowing Samantha's family since the early 80s, and Samantha since the early 80s. So that's where we met like that in, what was it, in Chestnut Junior High, where we first met, but her family was from the same neighborhood I was from. She grew up in that same neighborhood. So that's where we met, but how we really met to get to know each other was at the bowling alley one night. It was like maybe a Saturday, Friday, I can't recall.
Which bowling alley?
Alameda.
Oh, okay.
Alameda. So we was me and a couple of the homies, me and one homie, whatever. We ride, and so we going spot to spot, just going where it's happening at. And as we pull up, we see a few women walking into the bowling alley. So I noticed Sam. So I seen Sam. I rolled up, and I believe I must have rolled down when I called her name, and she was like, "Who, me? Yeah, you." So she, came over. We exchanged phone numbers and whatnot at that time. And what was impressive about that to me was back then in the 80s. No, that was the 80s. That was 80s. So, no, it was the 90s, but yeah, 91. I met you in the 80s, but I really met you in 91. Really got to know you in 91. Yeah, so what was impressive about that was that when I approached her, back then, most women would, it was all about what you were driving. And at that time, I was driving a car that was it was a low-key car. It was what we call the undercar. I wasn't in one of my flashy cars at the time. And she still, and she didn't really, I don't think she knew what I was into or how I was moving or whatnot. But she still, made that U-turn when I called her name. She buzzed back to the car.
Cute.
So,
Cute.
So that right there, that was big to me, and I was like, okay. So we exchanged numbers, and we got to, getting to know each other. But that night was more of where I really we introduced ourselves to each other. And she was, pretty much asking, what you guys up to, and I was pretty much, probably said something sweet like, I'm looking for a lady about your size.
Oh my goodness.
That was that. That's what we got out.
Nice.
So yeah, that was the gist of it. But you didn't just see us walking. You saw me walking.
Who?
Me.
What you mean you?
You saw my.
Oh. No, I don't. Yeah, I did. I ain't.
And
Exactly.
Yeah. You know, back in them days, you wasn't looking for
exactly. I'm not.
you wasn't looking for the get stuck. You was looking for it.
Well,
he just
like
wanted to. He thought he wanted to just.
Same thing I teach my
daughter.
daughter.
Gonna do that.
Most definitely. That's the same thing I teach my daughter.
Well, you have to date. So Sam had to date.
Yeah.
And she dated you. And so then y'all started dating. And then.
But he was kind of funny because I probably gave him my number because he became my 5 o'clock caller because he was like he said, low key. I didn't know what he was up to. I didn't know it was this Reno. They call him Reno. I was like, who was this Reno dude? Whatever. And so he would call me every day at 5 o'clock. And so I would get off work at 4:30 and then he would call me at 5. So I didn't have that much access to him, which means that, he was doing something. And I didn't know what that something was, but I loved his style. I love that, he good. He good on the eyes. He had good conversation. We laughed. We was from the same hood. We had the same struggles, the same kind of like everything. So he was my 5 o'clock caller for a while.
What was the significance with 5 o'clock?
Oh, I don't know. I think because maybe because she was getting off work.
Okay.
Just wanted to stay in contact. I think I don't remember.
Okay. So how did you know after y'all started dating, y'all were together? What did you say? You like, we exclusive now? Or like, how did y'all go from just like cute Sam, date to now we exclusive and together?
It didn't go like that.
No, it takes time to go like that. So.
And I think what it was, because he didn't, the guys they didn't want to commit back then. Yeah. They wanted to be able to hit whoever they wanted, or whatever. And so I think for me, it was like, okay, he didn't want me to see other people. Mm-hmm. But then again, he wanted to do whatever he wanted to do or not to commit to me. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, nah, we ain't, after a while, I was like, nah, we're not going to do that. Yeah. And then he was paying my rent and stuff. So he was like, I ain't paying your rent if you about to have other people come over here and date you. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, I'm not gonna. We not committed. So why would I not have friends if you're not committing to me? I'm committed to you, but you're not committed to me. And so I think at that point, I don't know. That's when you realize like you don't want nobody else to have me?
Well, that's probably when we started dating.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll go with that.
So y'all started dating, and then when did you realize Sam was like the one?
Oh, when did I realize that? And once we started dating and things like that, I was like the neighborhood executive producer for the neighborhood rappers.
Oh, really?
So a few rappers in the neighborhood we had, and so it was an album I had put out. One album as me and her was getting together.
Mac Ted,
yeah, Mac Ted, and then from Mac Ted and Ket, TKO. And then I put out another album. This at this time we together. I mean, we stayed together. The second album was The Milkman. And on both of those albums, both of the artists itself, they got incarcerated. So at this time, I'm a lot of money into these projects. Sam, she was one of the women. Well, not one of the women. She was a woman who stepped out and said, "Help me make sure I break even on this last album." So at night it'd be some nights we would go out, me and Sam, all over the Bay Area, and she'd be right there with me. And we had this like glue in a spray can, and we would spray. Like they got all the boards and stuff out there. We would put the posters on the boards like they have downtown. Uh-huh. So we'd be all on Berkeley, all over.
I was helping her promote Sam.
I was like, dude. You spray, I'm gonna hang it up, like just like this sign right here. I was a part of the street team.
Right, exactly. So she, with that dedication, that just showed me that she was real. I mean, you know, she didn't have to do that, and that meant a lot to me. Like I said, the homies went to jail. It was just me and Sam out there making sure I break even, at least break even, because they the talent. I was just the source for the money, and that was it. So we broke even. And once I got to breaking even, then I just pretty much let that go. But that's Sam. She was ride or die for me right there. She helped me get the business. That was the first business we started, and she knew how to do all that. You know, fictitious business names, and you know, so she showed me a lot.
Yeah, I work at the newspaper, so everybody in Oakland is coming to me to help out. But I had, you know, I think when you invested in somebody, you kind of want to help them get to their, you know, get to what their goal is. And like he said, you know, he had some change back then, but you know, you don't really just want to get rid of no money. So me riding in the car with him, hanging up the signs, put the sweatsuit on and some tennis shoes and go be, you know, side by side with him, I was willing to do that part. I was there for the body. I was the hood girl with the headscarf on, the ponytail, and you know, I was ready to put in work.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. Okay. So y'all dated for 6 years, or not dated, but y'all was together for 6, and then y'all decided to get married. So when you got married, how did marriage change our relationship from dating for 6 years to now we married? What was a significant change in the relationship?
So for me, like dating is like, for me, I thought, okay, I've had boyfriends before, you know, I thought, you know, long-term boyfriends before. And so I'm just like, okay, this is temporary, you know, until somebody put a ring on it. That's when I could, you know, wholeheartedly give my everything. And so I thought I was giving wholeheartedly at the time when I was dating. But when you get married, it's something about the connection. It's something about the matrimony. It's something about the foreverness with it. It kind of solidified it for me. So instead of me laying down and being, oh, I'm his girlfriend, I lay down as like, I'm his one. You know how they said, you know, we come as one.
Yeah.
I made him. We made each other whole. And so for me, that kind of changed it from the girlfriend status to I'm wifey. You know, I mean, it's me and him against any and everybody else. So it's us against the world. That's how I felt.
Yeah.
Well, mine's a little different.
Of course.
I still had a lot of chores to do. I'm coming out of a lifestyle of fast cars, fast women. So with me, eventually it made me a stronger man, a better man. I understand that I had to be there for my wife and let that lifestyle that I was living before perish. So it made me a better man.
Awesome. Okay. So we had a couple questions from the community. No, we vetted it. They're all good questions. Not gonna go too deep. So Sophia said, what was the hardest time in your marriage and how did you get through it?
I say for me, raising kids, because when you're raising kids, raising young adults, they go through stuff. And, you know, Ed was working nights a lot of times. A lot. He worked for Newmy where he was building cars, so he would work a night shift. And so for me, the kids were going through a transitional period. And his way of handling things and my way of handling things is two different ways. He's more calm, he'll talk to the kids, whereas me, I'm going to put these hands on them. And so when your kids go through stuff, you go through stuff. And so when my kids start to go through their process, I was getting sick. Like it would hurt me that I couldn't. I think I was so used to controlling the narrative in my house, and the kids, they do, you know, if y'all get a certain age, y'all start doing what y'all want to do. And I didn't take that well. And, you know, I would, you know, wait till Ed get home the next day. We only had a couple minutes to get together before I had to drop the kids off to school, or he would take Cookie to school and I would take Rodney to school or Yvette to school. But just the raising kids for me was the hardest part. And when you're raising kids, sometimes you lack communication. or the way I feel, you know how I am as far as my communication, to be in my brain, and I never really said it to him. And so we kind of can go lackadaisical with that communication piece. And then outside influencers, because everybody want to say, you know, Ed ain't the one, or Sam ain't the one, or y'all think y'all all this, or y'all think y'all all that. And then sometimes you will let people speak that into your psyche, like, is he the one? I mean, what, y'all know something that I don't know? I mean, you know what I'm saying? I started to put that in there. So the raising kid part was hard. The communication at times was hard. And then the outside influencers and the way that we did it, because we were young. We was 24, you know, when I got married, 3 kids at 24, you know, thinking about that. And we had to go to counseling. We had to go to counseling because they were teaching me something about myself. I'm from a family that are strong Black women, and a lot of times what we do and how we say things can be very aggressive. And so I had to learn something about myself, and that's what the counselor did. She put the mirror to me and was like, you deflating these men in your house because you're super strong. And I was like, deflate? I mean, what? And so we would go after we left the counseling, I wouldn't talk for 2-3 days. Really? Because somebody put that mirror in my face, and it's like, did y'all tell this lady my business? Like, you know, I'm very, you know, not private to that part, but you know, I don't want it to feel like I'm getting beat up and we're going to a place where I'm supposed to get counseling, but I didn't understand that's what counseling was. Sometimes you got to peel back the layers kind of thing. So for me, the communication, raising kids, and then outside influences, you know, was mine.
Pretty much what Sam said. Real. I mean, that's pretty much what it was.
And then we brought the church. What the hardest time in your marriage? And then
I would say pretty much what you said. I mean, you pretty much covered that.
And then we also went to church. And so he didn't.
Yeah, the church thing was more of a. Sam was going to church. And I've been to church, you know, as a youngster, because right there on 88, where you grew up, right over there where your mother was, Allen Temple. My grandmother stayed on 88 for years, so since I was born, so about 40 years. So I would go to Allen Temple with her. But I was a kid, I wasn't really understanding what church was about. So I used to cut Sunday school and go to Lockwood across the street, play basketball. But when I started going, Sam was going, and she was going all the time. And I was like, you know what? We start going once a week, once a month. Then it went to twice a month, then went to 4 times a month. But when I started going to church, now I'm older. So now I'm listening to Pastor Bob. And he has a way that connected to me with street knowledge, like, you know, the game he spit to me. I'm like, okay, I understand what's going on now. And it was more of a positive thing. I'm coming from all negative. Everything I ever heard was very negative. I mean, from the streets. It wasn't nothing like this cutthroat. Yeah. So that's how we end up going. I ended up going to church through Sam. Sam introduced me to church full time.
So was that a conversation that you had to have with him to say, hey, I want you to go to church more? Or who brought that?
Well, when we first started dating, and I'm sorry, I had a baby, my last baby at 24. We got married at 26. And so I misquoted. It was 24 and then 26. We first started dating, like he said, I was heavily going to church. I was going every time the church doors was open because I wanted to be everything that I could be in my relationship. And I think because I was always going to church, and he was seeing a change in me. And so I would try to be like, hey, just come one time. Because I think for us, it couldn't just be me making a change. Yeah. Because it's a relationship. And if we're in this relationship together, we need to be making change together. We need to be understanding the same verbiage, the same language. We need to be at one with one another. And I think by me I'm like this with him. That's why he's here today. Because I'd be like this. Well, babe, can you, and I guess after you keep nudging, that's why I always say you never stop speaking things like you want. If you want something, go after it. Yeah. And so my thing, I wanted my family to be well. I wanted us to be on one accord. And I think when we're on one accord, then our kids kind of fall in line. Yeah. Because now we're speaking the same language. Now we're understanding what God said when it comes to marriage and raising children and partnerships and businesses and stuff like that. So that, for me, it meant a lot for him to get up. And now he's like, you want to church? Yeah, I'm coming with you. And like he said, it started off at one day a week, and then it went to every other week. He would come, and then it's like every, then we go eat breakfast. So it's like, okay, that'd be our date time.
COVID killed.
COVID messed us up, right?
COVID messed y'all up?
Yeah, but we have friends down at our favorite restaurant down the street. So hold on, I don't know if you want to go through these. Well, no,
You got a question?
we gotta say hi to Auntie August. Everybody say hi to Auntie
August.
August. Will said, hey, what's up, Ed?
Hey, Will.
Oh, yeah, that's your boy.
All right, Will got a new job. Congratulations,
Yeah,
Will, on your new
congratulations,
job.
Will. Yes, Will.
He had the steel toe boots. He said, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. I said, that's right, Will. Tell him.
That's what Will talk said.
That's what he said.
Robbie gonna say, yeah, they nice or whatever. Ed said, what's up, Ed and Sam, the best married couple in this earth. But you guys are getting a lot of positive vibes from people.
Yeah.
TKO, Robbie said they changed the 415 to the 510. She said she's ready to put in work, definitely ready to put in some work, but you got to be able to lead me to that point where I believe in you, and then at that, I'm a rock with him. So you can go ahead, man.
Okay, so I think all the people want to know, after 30 years together, 24 years married, how do y'all keep a lit, happy marriage? Like y'all always seem like y'all like still got those jitters for each other.
Well, this is my best friend. I mean, like I always go back to like my childhood. You would wake up and I'd go get my homies, Sap, Lurk, Hurst, Ted, few cats. I would get up early and go knock on their doors. I'd be like one of the first ones up. So I go knock on their doors. So
you early birds who likes him?
Yeah, most definitely. I'm up early. So this my best friend. So that's how I keep it. I mean, she is everything to me. Friend, wife, lover, all that. So, that's what makes it work for me. Her being my best friend.
Okay.
I he's still, I think we had talked about this a little bit at boot camp.
Mm-hmm.
They were asking do you still get good morning texts? And I'm like, yeah, I still get my good morning text. I get songs. Yeah, you'll send me a song. What was the song you just sent me?
Stay together.
Yeah, let's stay together. He sent me that, and I sent him one because I was being mean this morning. So I was like, what was that one?
Somebody whispered.
Yeah. It was something. I don't know. I was apologizing basically for being a butt.
Yeah.
But he still bring flowers. He's still let's go for a bike ride. Let's go for a date. When we in the grocery store, we hold hands. Like he said, we're definitely best friends. And if I have bad days or if I have good days, it's like I can't wait to tell you. You know how you go to your girlfriends and you kind of just explore with your girlfriend. I don't have to do that. And it's not no petty stuff.
Right.
And if I'm wrong, hey, maybe you should have went at it this way.
Yeah.
And then we laugh about it, and he'd be like, well, you don't let nobody play with you like that, kind of thing. But at the same time, he always wanted me to keep my lady.
Yeah.
And, he, when I think it's good. I think he makes me feel cute and sexy and all that kind of stuff. And then, we got to check our outfits out. So I'll put it on just to see if it's too much. And if I walk around the house with the outfit on and he don't say nothing, then I pass the test. I can wear it outside. And then what's he about to say?
The outfit thing, sometimes some things I might not approve of, but at the same time, I got to believe in Santa.
Yeah.
So, like I say, I really don't want nothing nobody else don't want anyway.
Right.
So, cats going to be who they are. Like I done said this before. They might be all in her DM, but she with me in the AM and the PM.
He said that at your 50th birthday.
So sometimes it'd be some things, but I know this is what she wants to wear. So
Would it be too much? You don't like the waffle pants for sure.
The waffle pants?
The ones with you said
you don't like those?
They okay, but some of them don't fit right.
Did y'all hear Ed don't like Ed don't like our waffle pants?
I don't want to tell. I tell you later.
That's hilarious.
No, he'd be like they just like they sticking in your butt. That's what you be saying, babe. He don't be like me to wear it.
I think the takeaway from this is y'all still dating after 24 years. I think that's amazing that you guys are still dating. Sometimes you see couples that have been together so long that things are stale, you know, they just don't really seem happy. And to still get good morning texts, like, I don't know, that's amazing.
I think it's levels to it because, you know, like we started off young, had kids. Our life at that time was totally invested in kids, making sure they made it to the next level, making sure they went to school, making sure they high school, college, and everything that came after that. And then when the kids left, we was an empty nester for a minute. And then that's when we were able to start redating, you know, knowing that we ain't got no kids, we can walk around here, whatever. It just was a whole other level. So I think the more years we put in, it changes.
Okay.
So, you know, he'd be NOG, he might be Babe, Reno, whatever. But I think the more we're together, it changes. The level of love changes. It's like where we at. It's different phases. And you know, it's like we recreating a new marriage or recreating our connection.
Every couple of years or so.
Well, it just feels like it's just like, I go back and look at, you know, some of the things we used to fuss about. You know, some of the stuff, disagreements we would have. I'm just like, we can go like 3-4 months without, you know, you didn't pick up your stuff off the floor. You didn't, you know, it's just like petty stuff. We don't even pay attention to the petty no more. It's just like live your life. You know, I respect him. I adore him. You know, I can always figure out what he's gonna say before he say it. You know, I always tell me I'm gonna be in trouble when I get home, and not technically in trouble. It's just like, okay, he's gonna, you know, we're gonna have this conversation.
Like when the van be dirty or something like
that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you already know, right?
Okay, so next question. What advice would you give to the new age couple? So I say this because a lot of times now, you know, the older relationships was the man is like the breadwinner, the wife stays at home and take care of the kids and do all the domestic stuff, but now there's a lot of blurred lines, right? Sometimes you have women that make more than the man, or they both have to go to work, or it's just like the gender roles are just kind of blurry now. Sometimes the man cook, you know, sometimes the man I even have friends where the man is actually to stay at home because the wife actually makes more. So what advice would you give to new age couples that it's just a blurry line between the gender roles?
First, I would say seek some type of counseling, professional counseling. But touch on what you said about the, I guess did you say something about, I guess the roles.
The roles, what kind of advice? Blurry.
Well, I you know, give somebody advice. I'm more type of giving people advice that my family, close friends, somebody who really I can reach out to. I just don't pretty much give it to the whole world like that. You know, I feel that ain't my job. But for Sam, I'm not intimidated by Sam's success. So that's just me. You know, I'm her biggest fan, so I'm gonna encourage her to win. She win and we win. So, I mean, I know you spoke about something about sometimes women might make more or whatnot. But, you know, you have to be confident within yourself. You know, and like with me, you can't do the background on me through gossip. Google. You know, so you really it ain't too much you can find out about me. So if you know the background, you know me. So I'm not concerned about what nobody thinks about when it comes to who how Sam is moving right now. But I encourage that. You know, why would I stop her from shining?
So I want to touch on what advice would I give to a new age couple? I would say first of all, communicate. You know, communication is key. Because a lot of times we can miscommunicate or not communicate, and I could just take something in my mind and run with it, like somebody really did something to me, and don't just throw in a towel. A lot of times they say like a cancel culture. You know, right now it's a cancel culture. You said one thing to me and I'm canceling you out. You know what I'm saying? I don't think in a relationship you should, especially if somebody he checked all the boxes for me, and he did maybe 2 things wrong, but all these other 34 boxes is checked. Why would I just cancel out on somebody that treats me good, respects me, loves me, honors me, take care of the house, you know, I never had a problem with no bill. We ain't never had nothing cut off. So why would I cancel those relationships? And I think a lot of times, like even on social media, you see where, you know, every year somebody got somebody new.
Yeah.
And it could be one thing that somebody did that will cancel somebody. And I don't think it's right. I don't think that you will go far, just cancel.
Yeah.
I think that, like he said, getting counseling, especially if that person, you got 34 boxes checked out of 36.
Right.
You know, don't just stop. But communication is key. I think keeping people out your business is key, because the more people you start to tell your business to, like when y'all have an argument, and then it's gonna be Jack told Sally, Sally told Matt, and then it's gonna get right back around to y'all. Then you're gonna be like, that ain't what I said. And then how embarrassing is that for him, for something that happened to my house and it didn't make it all the way around the block? So I just think, you know, keep it 100 with your partner.
Yeah.
You know, no matter how it makes you feel, I think it's honesty and always be respectful.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I would say for the new age people.
Yeah, that cancel culture is definitely something that's detrimental to our generation, because I think we sometimes treat each other like disposable because we have access to so many things. Like in y'all generation, it might have been, did y'all even have cell phones when y'all met? I'm not sure, but like maybe, but then like everybody did, you know, like it was a one-off kind of thing where everybody, it was no social media. It was like, you just kind of date your person, and then maybe you talk to other people in the community. But now it's like with social media, we have access to everything. Like if you want to date somebody in another country, like you can literally log on to social media and see the beautiful women all around the world, you know? And so it's like when, you know, and so when one person, like if somebody does something, it's like, okay, I don't have to take that, you know, like people have egos. They're like, I don't have to take that. I can move on, because they see what somebody else might have, or they see like the minute you break up with somebody else is in your DMs. So it's like, you literally treat that person disposable and don't really give them no room to make a mistake, you know? So that's what's working against us. And it's kind of sad, the whole cancel culture. What is it called?
Cancel culture.
Cancel culture, yeah.
But then that means when you you cancel somebody, or you say, okay, this is not the right person, then you're gonna move on to the next one.
Yep.
And then that person's gonna do something. And then so that's how I always felt like, you know, if this is his only vice or whatever, then, you know, somebody else may have 17 other vices. If he only got one vice, I mean, and he checked all those boxes, then why would I not stick this out and work this through? And then maybe, you know, that one thing that I'm irritated by, we can kind of talk about that. Let's figure out how it doesn't irritate me. Maybe either I become accepting, or maybe you should stop doing it, one or the other. So I think that there is a common ground at some point.
Okay, so the next question is for Sam. So 47% of Black women have never been married before. This is according to the U.S. Census. So it's almost half of us Black women that have never been married. What would you say is the biggest misconception that you think women have about marriage, and what advice would you give us?
I think that women always say, ain't nobody for me. He ain't for me. He ain't tall, dark, and handsome, and he making 7 figures. You know, he can't support me. He still live or he ain't driving You know, I think that's where we're lost at, because you have this image of a person that you want, and I think you could have slipped up on somebody, because you was looking for somebody that was tall, somebody had, you know, they were dark and handsome, they was driving a Benz, and they worked at Google, and they did all this kind of stuff. But what about somebody who treats you right? What about somebody who's gonna love you? What about that person that's gonna make sure you get to your car, that call you when you get home, that's gonna say, well, babe, I don't want you to pay your bills, I'm gonna go ahead and take that over. But you didn't even give that person a chance. And I think for some women is that slow down for a second. Take your time to just, you know, like old people used to say, court. Okay. We don't even court anymore. And courting is just like, let me see if I even like you, to take you to the next phase, which is dating. Okay, so let me court you first. Let me see what you're about. Let me see how you make moves, so on and so forth. And then you take it to the next level where you're dating. And I think we don't court anymore. And that's why we just going through people. That, you know, and I'm that's just me. But I just think the misconception is that it has to be perfect. And there's no person perfect. I'm not perfect. So how can I expect somebody else to be perfect? You know, so that's my thing. It's just like, wait a minute, slow down, get to know the person for them. Don't give all of yourself immediately. Get to know them, court them. Don't be so quick.
Okay. So next question is for Ed. What advice would you give to young men? And you guys talked a lot about the outsiders. And at your 20th wedding anniversary, the video that went viral, I think it was like 5 million, 5 million views. Did you know the video went viral?
No,
That video of you had 5 million views. Did you know that?
I didn't know that many views.
Yeah, everybody would have gave us $1. Huh?
Then I
Right.
Yeah.
What went viral though, because I think like you are like everybody knows a man of few words, but when you say things, I think it has weight to it, you know, and a lot of what you said was not having people in your business. And somebody today actually just said something about, oh, well, you should go to counseling, but I'm happy to know that y'all actually did go to counseling, because you didn't mean people in your business by like counseling or your pastor. You meant just the community, right? Like friends. You don't go to friends for relationship advice or just random, you know, associates for relationship advice. So I know that growing up in Oakland, we typically, like, if we meet somebody and date them, most likely friends are going to know who that person is, right? If the person is, like you said, you don't want a woman that don't nobody want, but like, you know, what would you say to young men where they constantly, like, they're in a dating phase with a woman and they're constantly getting like unsolicited advice from their like they homeboys, or, you know, because I feel like that could damage a lot of relationships where you get.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think that's just, you have to be strong-willed within yourself, because that's going to happen. I mean, that's just something men do. I mean, at the same time, I mean, if I wouldn't listen to everything I heard from the gate, me and Sam wouldn't be together. I mean, you know, it's like,
It was hate.
yeah, well, why they hate, they trying to holler at
Yeah.
you. You know what I'm saying? So you got to understand, you need to watch the source where it's coming from.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can't believe everything that someone tell you, because at the same time, you know, the salt they was throwing at me and Sam won't do nothing but season our play.
Ooh,
You know, so
I like that.
yeah, they pretty much.
No, I was showing her
Oh.
something.
No, but yeah, I was telling you, this understand that if you have a beautiful woman, your homie might think she's beautiful too.
Mm-hmm.
So he might say something, you know, I seen her such and such hollering at such and such.
Yeah.
And she maybe was talking to this guy or whatnot, but that doesn't mean she was hollering at him.
Yeah.
You know, he needs to vet that first, make sure that he's getting proper information.
Yeah.
And getting, you know, truth behind it. Because like I say, your homie, he might think she's beautiful too.
Right.
And just don't want to see you with her.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, you and homie fall out, he trying to holler at you.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's good. That's a good gym. Be careful where the source. Where is it coming from? That person might not have your best interest. Mika says, "Is there anything in your relationship you would do differently if you can go back in time?" That's a good one.
If I could go back in time, I think, you know what? I don't think I would change anything.
No.
Because I think everything that we've gone through was a lesson, you know, and our lessons made us who we are. The longevity, all the stuff, the trials and stuff, and, you know, both of us losing our moms 6 months apart, everything that we've gone through, in my opinion, it strengthened us. Because the minute we go through a trial, it seemed like me and him be like this. It's like a magnet. It's like, okay, babe, we gotta go fight this. We gotta go beat this. They coming for me, babe. He was like, man, they ain't coming for you. Because they coming for you, they gotta go through me first. So I wouldn't change anything that we've gone through at all, because I wouldn't be the person that I am today had we not gone through some of the stuff that we went through.
yeah, I wouldn't go back myself either. I'm not living, I got love for you, Mika, but I don't go backwards. So I'm gonna continue to go forward and make things even better.
Yeah.
I look forward to the future.
Yeah.
What happened, what went down in the past, we can't change that.
Yeah.
So I'm cool with it.
That's good. Okay. So a question from Anitra. You kind of already answered this. It was, how does Ed deal with supporting such a phenomenal woman, and what can he share with other men who are loving someone just or almost dynamic as Sam?
Pretty much, like you said, I think I pretty much answered that. You have to have a strong will and know yourself. I mean, Sam is like the sun, you know what I'm saying? So when the sun is out, everybody loves the sun. Most people do. When they see the sun, they love to see the sun. Me and her be somewhere, and it's Sam, they want to speak to Sam.
Mm-hmm.
And me, I'm more laid back. I'm more like the full moon.
Mm-hmm.
I come out every once in a while. You know what I'm saying? And some people like to see the full moon. You be right and you look, there they go to full moon. So every once in a while I get people who, yeah, what's happening? They generally happy to see me. But with Sam being who she is, she's the sun.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so you got to be comfortable with who you are.
Yeah.
And let her be who she is.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to stop that. If I was to stop that, I'd be quote unquote a hater.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not going to hate on Sam because this is who she is. That's who's made her who she is right now today.
Yeah.
You don't want to stop that. I mean, being young, you might think a little differently, like, because some men want that shine. I never wanted to shine. I always played the background. I've been like Andre Herrero, those type of people, Biggs, Slim, the people you don't hear about or see that much.
Mm-hmm.
That's me. But you have to have a strong will. Confidence in yourself that you cool and let her shine. I mean, that's what it is. If I was shining, I would want her to let me shine.
Yeah.
So.
Like, people always ask me too, like, you play too much. They see our, the videos where I'm trying to put the mask and stuff on.
Oh, yeah.
And they was like, he don't like he be playing with you. I'm like, but for me, I like to mess with him.
Mm-hmm.
I like to get a little, he's so laid back. And so if I mess with him, then come on, you gonna be doing that. I don't want to do that. And I don't know, it's just the energy. So I know, he gets that, like when he go to the barber shop or something like that. Man, she be up at 4:30 in the morning and, again at 11:30 at night, she's still doing what she do. And like he said, I think it takes a person that has confidence.
Yeah.
And that's what I admire most about him, because he's very confident.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very, very confident. He's a man of, like you said, a few words, but his silence and his presence says a lot for him. And, if I'm out, we are at an event and I'm doing what we normally do, socialite stuff. Mm-hmm. And, we'll give each other he'll text me and be like, okay, babe.
Yeah.
I might go sit by the car, or he'll, but he good, and I can appreciate that, because when we do go out, it be like, let me go talk to this person.
For the attention. That's not the balance.
No.
Yeah.
Opposites attract.
Right. Yeah. That's good. Is there any more questions?
It's so many.
Okay, we got time.
How much time we got?
Okay.
We're already.
No, look,
Yes, we are.
He's not got us on the timer. We have 12 minutes. Okay, Auntie August said, I love seeing the sun and the moon. Thank you, Auntie.
Yeah,
Katrina said, I love it. You guys are a beautiful black couple. Black excellence at its finest. Okay. Katrina said, right, I love that she is a sun that shines. Yeah. Love the metaphors. Yeah, he's good with that. Come out once in a while. That's me. I agree, Ed. I'm not sure. I don't see if there's any other questions here. Yes, Ed, I've been in that situation. I don't know. Keep everyone out of your relationship. It's you, your spouse, and God. Absolutely.
But then they did go to counseling. So I think that's something that's mentionable in the Black community, where we think we kind of have, it's just up to us to figure it out, when there's resources out there where you can go and seek help. So I think that's an important thing. Was that a long time ago that y'all actually went to counseling, or was that?
Yeah, that was a while back. So the kids were like in school, but You ever just have like an argument with somebody and you think you right and they think they right?
Yep.
And you may be right and I may be right. But when you have a middle person saying, well, think about it this way,
Right.
that kind of takes all this down, so you can be like, well, maybe he is right. But if he's saying something and I'm saying something, I'm like this now.
Right.
Just,
Yeah.
And so to have somebody that's being paid, that went to school to do something like that, to counsel us,
Right.
that's what we needed.
Right. Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, I know we talked about like phases, and I won't keep y'all too much longer because I know Ed is like the time.
No, but I can back up and y'all keep doing your thing.
No, it's about
You
I
good
know.
job though, right?
So the last piece. So you said you talked about it's like your relationship went in phases. Like you was empty nesters at one point, and every like I guess couple years or so that the relationship is like constantly evolving. So 24 years married, 30 years together. What do you guys want? What's next for y'all in the next phase of life? Y'all raise kids, now y'all have grandkids, multiple businesses, all these great things for the community. What's like the next phase, or what do y'all want out of the next phase of y'all marriage?
Well, I'm gonna get to the next phase, but this OG once asked me before, do you know your great grandfather? Right, and my great grandfather, I know one of them. The other one I don't know. And he said, you know why you don't know him? I was like, no, why I don't know him? He said, because he didn't need shit. So, and that's the truth, because when I thought about it, the one I do know, he left the property in Mississippi to my grandmother. My grandmother left it to her kids. My father passed away, and he left his portion to me and my sister. So, to say what you're saying, what's my next phase, is to continue to run this marathon and make sure I hand this baton off to the next up, which is my kids, and make sure they run the marathon even stronger.
I love that. Generational wealth.
Yeah, that's the goal. I mean, that's what we pushing. You know what I'm saying? We have a plan for that. We need to execute that. So that's what my mindset is right now. That's the next phase for me.
Okay.
Mine is to retire. I want to retire. I want to buy me a house. I got this many years.
3 years?
3 years. 3 more years. That's my goal. 3 years. That is the plan. And I would think like after that, before I retire, I would like to buy a house in Texas. I want to go out there and create another business, maybe a tip-top shape Houston,
Okay.
Tip-top shape Austin or Fort Worth, Texas, where my family at, or Arlington. But I'm going to Texas. I've been looking at houses. I want a big old house with a swimming pool.
Wait, relocate?
No, I'm gonna be back. I'm gonna be
forth.
back and forth. So you go at this one, and I'm gonna go out there get that started. You go, yeah, definitely. It's just because
Tell me I'll run this. So
she did get in trouble, y'all. That's why when I'm not here, you run
I can run it.
You can't run it when I'm here.
Okay.
Now.
You gotta be gone.
Ed always talks about let's just get in the car and just drive.
Okay.
Now he is a driver, and he don't mind driving. He don't drink, so I can have my little water bottle. He always catch me with the water bottle with the straw. I be trying to act like it's just water in it. He's like, well, why you got a straw for your water? Because I'm trying to have a cocktail. But anyway, he wants to get into a car and just drive.
Okay.
Drive from California to New York. He just wants to get in the car and just kind of like do that kind of thing. So that'll be something that we're gonna do and help raise our grandkids.
Yeah.
Our kids are good. Everybody's good as far as our adult children. But we got to be here for our grandkids. And like he said, he always speaks of generational wealth, buying stuff, making sure we leave something for them. But they say get on the horse and ride into the sunset kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's gonna be us.
That's gonna be y'all.
That's gonna be us riding into the sunset. We're gonna be in probably one of the vans or something, not the white van, but the gray van. The gray van with the TV going, and might be a little cooler in the back. But I'm looking forward to getting old with him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to our next phase, whatever that looks like. I'm sure it's gonna be a bunch of adventures.
Mm-hmm.
He may not want to do all my adventures. He might not want to do everything that I want to do, but at least he ain't gonna let me jump by myself.
Yeah.
He gonna be there to watch me, to protect me, make sure I ain't fell off or nothing or whatever. Oh, look at the door now. So I'm excited about going to this next phase. Definitely excited.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Y'all jump into something else. I'm back.
Why? We want to talk to you.
No, I'm done.
Why?
Good.
Baby,
I think
why?
that was a lot
Yeah,
though. I'm
that's
pretty
good.
sure a lot of
Yeah.
the people wasn't expecting all of that.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
Hey, you're not done yet. Why you gotta be done? Wait, I want to tell you something. Happy anniversary.
I'm not saying you. I love you.
Where my present?
This
Ain't
your
the
present.
21st yet.
Where my
Yeah.
present?
It's part of
This your
you know,
present.
the reason why I've done it. I mean, because of Santa.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I wouldn't have done it.
That's amazing.
I knew this was heavy on her heart. This is
Yeah.
something she wanted. And,
Yeah.
Because every time I see Quiana, she be like, y'all ain't telling us
Yeah.
nothing.
Well,
Y'all ain't
because
telling us
like,
nothing.
well, no, I just wanted to say I definitely appreciate you guys. I know that you hold your relationship sacred and don't. That's not normal to put yourself out there, but I really do appreciate this. Like, it's for y'all anniversary, but it's for us too. We don't have a lot of successful relationships in the Black community, and when we do, we just hear marriage is hard. Like, that's a blanket statement that's thrown out there all the time. Marriage is hard, but we really don't know the tactical things. Like, if I ask some of my friends, do they actually know somebody that's married and was able to like witness kind of more closely, instead of not these like social media people and celebrities where they like, oh, relationship goals. To me, that's never been a relationship goal. It's like this day in, day out, I see the effort that you guys put in. To me, that's more of like a practical relationship goal for me, is to actually see day in, day out what you put in, not what you do for the public, not what you do just for like, fame or whatever, but what you do day to day. And so you stepping out and getting a little uncomfortable, trust me, I'm pretty sure it's people out there that's listening to, that's inspired. So thank you for getting a little uncomfortable today. I really appreciate it. We really appreciate
He's
it.
like, all right.
But like what you was just saying, I'm gonna say that. Speak on that, but I'm about to
Don't
say
leave. Baby,
So,
don't
I'm,
leave.
that.
Don't leave.
But, you said something about like I guess day-to-day couples.
Yeah.
Growing up, me honestly, my people I seen were mostly single. Most of them single. My uncles, my mother's uncle. I mean, my mother's brother, which was my uncle. They was back then. They was players. I mean, real players. I mean, this is what I seen.
Mm-hmm.
Then after that, as I got older, the big homies, they was players. So when me and Sam got together and I seen, we got married, I looked at her grandfather, her grandmother, how they stuck together for years. Man, I mean, it makes me, Grandpa, he was a dude where, Grandma never worked. So that right there, I respect that much, to the fullest. And then I have an uncle on my daddy's side who's been married for, since I was a kid, I believe. I think they've been married. They're still together right now today. And I look at their relationship and see how, and he always tells me, he say, man, they're stronger together. And right now today, they live in real, so it's a team.
Yeah.
When you, not to say that you can't do it by yourself, because people can.
Yeah.
But, like they say in boardrooms or at work or whatnot, teamwork.
Yep.
With teamwork makes the dream work. So, I'm big on the team. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's a few Tiger Woods out there, a few Serenas who can do it on their own. But we're gonna call a play together.
Yeah.
We're gonna build that way. But I was able to see her grandfather and grandmother, and my uncle and auntie, who that's who I look at. Yes. I admire their situation. But before that, it was just.
You didn't have an example.
No, I don't think I really did. I think it was more of what I seen. Like I said, single mothers, things of that nature. But and my uncles, my mother's brothers, which is, my other uncle, my oldest uncle, my younger uncle right now, he's married and he's been married for a while now. But back in the day, as a youngster, this is what I seen, because they would come to our house. My other uncle, he was the East Bay Drag. So they would have a lot of parties at our house. Some of the dragon members would be there, and some things we couldn't see because you had to stay in a room at that time. You couldn't come out while they was partying. Like I see now, the kids partying with them.
Right.
Yeah. So, say, just, reiterate on what you said is to grandpa and grandma and my uncle and aunt.
We got y'all.
And my grandpa he didn't like nobody.
He did.
Yeah,
Oh no, my grandpa he didn't like anybody. And I think that when he started liking you was when the police. Remember the police told me they were gonna take my baby? And he was trying to fight the police. And my grandpa was just like, "That's my boy. That's the one. That's the
Yeah,
one."
he was. I mean, I can imagine.
Because he didn't like anybody.
Well,
but,
he had all girls, so I'm quite sure he seen a lot of men, different men. And he treated me at first. He just mumbling, But then at one point, next thing you know, he tell that boy to move my car. So I mean, I had to earn that.
You had to earn
and
it,
every young man won't have to earn it.
Yeah.
That's what, especially coming through my family.
Yeah.
With my daughter, nieces, you, because Quiana, we've been on you for a long time.
Yeah.
I'm real glad he gotta come to y'all.
Right.
He gotta come to y'all.
Are you gone?
Are
you going?
Yeah.
So Ed is gone.
Oh gosh.
But he gave us some good.
He
gave us some
he
gems.
stayed a long time. He had his timer. He had a timer. You didn't see his timer? He had his timer. But I mean, you got a lot of we got.
I hope y'all found that helpful, because Ed probably not coming back for nothing like this, huh? So I hope y'all took notes.
So now I'm reversing. What did you get out of the conversation? What would you do differently going into? Because you're single right now.
Single,
right?
yeah.
And are you courting someone right now?
No, but single, aspiring to be married.
Okay.
And I have faith. I'm not one of those women that have lost faith, or like you said, it's nobody out there. Like, I still have faith, and that's why I admire, like, when I see like people that I know, I find I'm like aspiring to be like y'all, because I know it's possible. So what I learned was, one, like you said, having patience. I can probably think of some situations in the past where I didn't have patience. I probably maybe treated somebody just a little disposable when I could have just said, let me hold on, let me try to work through this, let me communicate. So slowing down a little bit, that's one thing that I could probably do different in the next situation.
And what I want you to also learn is that, because you're very strong-willed.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happened to us yesterday. Wednesday. You're very strong-willed, and at some point, I think you don't always got to win the fight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes walking away from situations and coming back to read, because that's why I text you that night. And it's like, bro, what's wrong with you? But I love you.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times we be in it to win.
Yeah.
We want to scratch the face out. You ain't and when you're dealing with a man, a manly man, they ain't gonna want that. Yeah. They're not gonna want somebody that they gotta battle every time we have a disagreement. Most men don't like a foul-mouthed female either. Yeah. And I think, like, with Ed, he was like, I used to cuss a lot. I mean, I had a mouth. Yeah, I had a potty mouth, definitely. And he would say, like, if I want that kind of mouth, I can stay on the street with the dudes. Yeah. With the partners. Why do I want to come home and have to still fight like I'm in the streets with the dudes? Like, I'm supposed to come home and get my peace. Right. And I think a lot of times we as women, we get so caught up on us versus trying to make sure we good for them. Yeah. And if you good for them, they're going to turn around and be good for you too. He leads by an example. So he's very nice. I mean, when I say he's very nice, so when he don't talk to me, I be like, oh my God, I be almost like, you better come up here, just by him being silent. I don't want nobody, I like to talk. I like to have relation. I like to, have him to have these kind of conversations with me. And that's how I got so much game now, is because at this point, he could be honest. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm not going nowhere. Right. But I just want to tell the younger people and people who haven't found anybody yet, or have somebody and you may be battling something, like we said earlier, go get some counseling. Understand that it may not be something wrong with them. It could be something wrong with us. And that's where counseling reveals. It's like an onion. It's going to be peeled back. And just be the woman. You know, a woman's supposed to be, we ain't got to be hard and rigid.
Yeah.
You know, you know, I just think like, be soft.
Yeah.
You know, be soft.
Feminine.
Put some lotion on your hands and put some Vaseline on your feet. Just keep your lady.
Yeah.
You know, and they gonna make you mad. They're definitely gonna make you mad. There's gonna be plenty of times where you know you're gonna be tested, but just don't give in. And then when they start to get on your nerve, take a break, go downstairs and go boil you an egg and wait till the egg get done. That's 20 minutes. But it's so worth it. And that peace, you can't pay for that peace.
Yeah.
Just like let it go and come back and revisit it later after you've not mad. It's like a lot of times, like we could be in the car. Like, you know, why you didn't turn left? I'm one of those people that have been trying to tell him where to drive.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, you want me to drive? You should have just been in the driver's seat. You want me to pull over kind of thing? And then we have a dumb argument over that. And then I just get in the car and be like, in my mind, I ain't talking to him for the whole day. He is not my boyfriend today. So I mean, he don't be my boyfriend like 2 days out the month.
Yeah.
But then I come back again. You know, I quit it, and then I be back.
Yeah.
But it is work. I'm not gonna say hard work. We make it hard.
Yeah.
You know, we make the relationship hard.
Yeah.
But when you invest in your person, you invest in the person that you love. That's the best investment ever.
Right.
You know, because now for us, it's paying off.
Right. Yeah.
You know, now we about to, like I said,
See the return on your investment.
Yeah, my return.
Yeah.
Definitely my return.
Yeah.
And he probably feel the same way.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
So I want you to be like you said, you're inspired. Know that your Boaz is coming. He's coming to get you. That's in the Bible. Everybody has Boaz. Boaz was a good man that came and claimed his woman.
Okay, Boaz, where you at?
Your Boaz, Boaz. He coming to get you, definitely, Quiana. So we appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
Y'all kept these numbers up. I hope you guys took a moment to like and share this, and then
subscribe.
Like, share, and subscribe. Quiana, you are phenomenal.
Yeah.
You did an amazing job. You were so organized.
Ooh.
You were definitely organized. I think you know, I'd be taking my JLB in more ways than one.
No, I was waiting to miss the opportunity.
I know you
I said, I gotta do it right.
You did it right. You went to the community, and the community asked the questions, and you know, I think we answered all the questions. I don't know.
No, we got through all the questions.
We got through all of the questions, but you know, don't be afraid of what the scripture says about honor and obey and submissive.
Yeah.
Those are just words, you know, but I think you should honor your husband. Definitely. He should be treated as your king. And I'm not going to say obey. I think you guys should agree. And then and then submissive don't always mean to be like, put what you want to do down. Submissive being allowing him to go before you and path out this path, you know, go before me. And so as a kind of person, he's very strategic about things he do. So if he's going to get the car, and then he'll come back and be like, okay, it's safe. It's good. So come on and get the car. And I think until he puts me in a situation where, hey, you didn't check that out? Now we about to hit this brick wall.
Yeah.
You didn't go carve out the path. I think until that point, I'm going to follow him.
Yeah.
You know, not be submissive, but I'm going to follow him because he hasn't led me wrong.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
I think it's like, to feel like that, I feel like it's a free, like, I don't know what that feels like. I've never experienced to feel protected in that way. And to feel like I can be 100% feminine, like 100% walls down, 100% in living in femininity, because a lot of times we don't have men to support us in that way, you know? And so until then, you kind of have like this wall, you kind of have like this masculine energy, and that's like, I don't know, that's to feel like that. I don't know what that feels like, but
let your guards down.
True.
And I think a man, like for me, I would, when it's time, I don't know, when I was pregnant, Ed had bought this big mop. I mean, a big mop. And my doctor was like, she can't fix that mop up. And I was like, hey, he got that big mop. I ain't got a mop no more. And I haven't mopped since Pookie. I was pregnant with Pookie.
Are you serious?
I promise you. And I don't touch the garbage. And sometimes I act like my stomach hurts, so I don't have to clean up. Or my auntie will tell you, I'll go to my grandma's house and be like, grandma them called me. And when I come in, it just, I don't know, I think a man, they want to take care of us.
Yeah.
But a lot of times we don't let them.
Yeah.
You know, he'd be like, you know, he know how hard I work, and he'll be like, babe, go. And I'll be like, I apologize sometimes. I'm like, babe, I didn't cook. I went and got, I picked up some food. And he'll be like, babe, I know you're tired. Go lay down.
Yeah.
Don't worry about this. Go lay down.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the clothes. Just go lay down kind of thing. And they want that. They want to feel like they're taking care of you.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times we as women don't let them.
Yeah.
You don't let them because you too busy being,
So
like you said, the masculine part, but you don't have to.
Yeah.
When there's a real person, a real man in your presence, and you can tell when you do let your hair, try to let your hair down going in.
Right.
Versus keeping that guard up like I'm my own woman, I got my own money, I got my own, I work at Facebook. And
I'll never say that.
but I'm just saying, you may not say it,
but it might come off.
It may come off in your intentions, and people may be scared of you because you are beautiful, you're educated, you're smart, you do have your own, you have multiple properties, so you definitely are, somebody that everybody should be, but I don't want you to come off with that.
Yeah.
That's super strong, opinionated. You could be opinionated, but there's a way you let it off.
Oh, okay.
Hey, honey.
Yeah.
That's something I gotta tell you.
Okay.
Instead of being y'all some of me don't want to hear all that, because that's an automatic. I don't hear you.
Right.
I mean that's how I look at it. That's how it depends on how I come in the house. He will turn it off. He will turn it off. What do you say? Come on.
They're ready to go.
It's on the door. To the left. Look to the left, babe. Look on the door when you walk in. You know that code?
Oh, 3698 pounds.
3698 pounds. Yes. Sorry, y'all. Mr. Wise is over here, like, going over there.
Will people still asking stuff?
Let me see, Miss Quiana. Great conversation. I was at the wedding in the beginning, and I see you. You'll be in the power couple. Thank you, Miss Cheryl. Thank you for my limits and stuff. But I let my guards down, and it leads me to wrong every time.
See?
I would say don't let them down every time. Now you got to make sure it's the right person, and that's where the courting come in. At you have to court and vet your people first. Court and vet them. Don't come in like court them and then start the dating process. Now don't let your guards down in the courting process. But maybe in the dating process, put some time in before you just let that window down.
Yeah.
Are you going to a bad neighborhood and your window's up, and then somebody say something to you, let the window down a little bit, like, yeah, what you want? That's how you're supposed to be in the courting process and going into a dating process. So don't just let your guards down like that. My husband is definitely my king, and I'm his queen. That's what I'm talking about. That's why y'all just celebrated y'all anniversary. So happy anniversary to y'all. Be in your femininity. And that's where real strength lies. Her name is Velma.
Okay. Oh, I know Velma.
Yeah.
Hey, Velma.
So Ed, it was beautiful account of the evolution of love. Stay with it. Thank you, Roz. Your husband will find you. Speak faith.
Okay. I might see him.
He had to find a straight bounce. I don't forget. Good job. Girl, you already knew hey, I told him 45 minutes. He let us talk for 48 with him in here. This is beautiful. Happy anniversary to both. But thank you. So today is the beginning of Juneteenth.
Juneteenth, yes.
Juneteenth. We run do a bike ride tomorrow. We're gonna ride bikes.
Yeah.
Tomorrow we're gonna leave from here at 10 o'clock. So you guys are welcome to join us. We're at 472 9th Street, 472 9th Street. We have different activities in Oakland happening tomorrow. We're gonna go to Mosswood Park. We're gonna go to California Hotel. We're going to end up at the Lake Merritt. It's a lot of activity going on tomorrow in celebration of Juneteenth. And as we were told that they voted in Congress, that Juneteenth will be a holiday. I don't know what that means.
A national holiday.
Yeah, but I don't know what that means. I mean, it's a holiday. Did we get today off?
No.
What day we get off?
We had a day of learning at our.
What did you learn?
I left that up to them to learn. I said I was going
to sit back.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, I don't know what that really means, but I think we need to talk to them about getting reparations.
Yeah.
We need to get, everybody else in this country got paid for their injustices, but we still haven't got paid for slavery. So we need to make sure we all stay involved with our politics and our community and what you guys see on the news. We also had a big day today in Oakland, whereas we announced, we're vetting the Oakland Coliseum, where we're trying to get the African American AASEG to purchase. They don't want to just take it over. They want to purchase the city's portion of the Oakland Coliseum, and we already have the WNBA that is interested. We have some soccer teams that are interested in the facility. We're talking about economic development over there. It's going to be a museum. So I'm going to ask you guys to join us on July 20th at the City Hall. And if we don't go to City Hall, I'll send out the links. So we just have to make sure we as a community make this happen for us here in Oakland. And as I pointed out today at the press conference, is that I'm watching who support, I'm watching who don't support. And so when it comes time for them to be up for election, we're going to make a decision whether they're going to be in our city council or whether they're going to be in our county board offices. We have to make a difference. And so for me, our vote counts, our voice matters if we do it together, if we do it collectively. So I'm going to go ahead and let Quiana close it out. I think I said enough. I appreciate you and I love you. You got a lot of hearts.
Oh,
You got a bunch of hearts.
Okay,
Oh my goodness. Oh girl.
Get the activity up.
Oh, she said that means it's a federal holiday. All federal buildings closed.
All
Okay.
federal buildings closed.
Okay.
Okay. No, so this, was one of my favorite, not just because I'm here, but because I've been wanting to hear from Ed and Sam for a long time. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you feel inspired for Black love. And
You see when I did this, you knew what I was talking about.
He did. That's how she gonna have to give me the secrets once we cut the live off. But yeah, no, thank you everybody for joining. I hope you enjoyed me as a guest host. Maybe one day Sam might have me back.
I'm gonna have you back. You're gonna do the millennial report.
Okay, I'll do the millennial report.
Yes, and we're gonna do next week. What can we do next week? What y'all wanna talk about next week?
Post in the comments what you want to talk about next week. I hope you found this helpful, feel inspired, and go somewhere and enjoy Juneteenth. Try to live in the moment. Don't think about where we came from, but think about where we are. And join us next time
On Samantha Wise Words. Now I gotta get up and turn it off.
Oh, that was supposed to be.
But we love y'all.
We love y'all, and thank you.
Yes. Let me see how I do this, y'all. Okay. Never had to end it myself.